everyone. This is Adriana, and we are back with our Heart to Heart Astrology Podcast. This is my grandmother, Caitlin, joining me. We are granddaughter and grandmother from the US to the UK, and sharing our heart to heart perspective.
Heart to heart.
Yes, with astrology and any of the energy that's happening. So if you guys are new here, we welcome you to whatever channel you're watching this on. You might be watching this on my StarrySkyReadings YouTube, or you might be seeing this from Caitlin's channel, Bhakti Galactic Healing. If you aren't, though, please go check out her channel. It's a new channel she's created, so please go subscribe to her there. Or you may be joining us from the Galactic Astrology page. So please, check out all three if you can, and like and subscribe.
Like, comment. We like to interact.
Yes, all
we enjoy that.
We appreciate you being here with us. And we have,
Absolutely.
again, lots to talk about. If you haven't seen our first video previous to this, we talked about the first 2 weeks of June, what was going on. So now we're going to be talking about the last 2 weeks of June, so the second half of June. And happy almost summer solstice. We have summertime fast approaching. We love the sun here. We so excited for that.
I've got on this beautiful yellow top for the sun.
Very
the sun ray.
Golden, golden rays, Without any further ado, I will go ahead and start talking about what's going on June 17th. So Mercury and Venus is moving into beautiful Cancer. We're entering summertime, so we always kick off the summer season with that Cancer energy, that very loving, nurturing, sensitive, ultra-sensitive Cancer energy. So Mercury, the planet of communication, and Venus, the planet of love, are joining up together into this beautiful water sign. So this is also going to be, these two planets are going to be conjunct fixed star Polaris and conjunct the fixed star Betelgeuse, not to be confused with the Beetlejuice movie. But I wonder if that's where they got it from.
Yeah. And Enzo says he thinks it's pronounced Betelgeuse, but I like Beetlejuice. I think it's more fun.
I know. I think Beetlejuice, we got to stick with that, right?
Yeah, I think it's cool.
I like juice, so we'll go with Beetlejuice. So fixed star Polaris, as you may know, is our North Star. And actually, it's not always our North Star. It's only for a certain period of time. It is for a very, very long time, though. So people have been using this star to navigate on ships and voyages for so many years, thousands of years. So, this is a very important star, Polaris. I'm going to actually share what this looks like, too. Here it is. We have Venus and Mercury together here. This is the UK chart, by the way, so it might look slightly different in the United States or wherever else you may be watching this from, but either way, it's still same thing applies. So it is making this conjunction here with Polaris and Betelgeuse. So let's focus on Polaris first, as these stars are in separate constellations here. So let's look at Polaris. This star is asking us where we need guidance, particularly when it comes to our relationships with the planet Venus and the way we communicate or express with the planet Mercury. Cancer being in these planets gives an emotional and nurturing energy. It really feels like this softening of our words and heart. It's a very soft energy I get from this. Where is your heart guiding you to go? Like how the ancients used this star for their own navigation, where do you feel guided to go when it comes to your relationship, or if you're seeking a relationship, what you're looking for in one, or how you are expressing yourself? Where are you being guided to express yourself? And with this conjunction to Betelgeuse now, we'll look at Betelgeuse. This brings great fortune with this bright star. Now, Betelgeuse, you mentioned this previously in a video, Caitlin, that this is actually a dying star, but it is very bright because it is a dying star. I believe a red giant, if I remember correctly, or super red giant, something like that. But it's
I'm
basically,
not sure.
yes, and you say the light that, emits from it can maybe one day brighten our skies in the future, which I found really interesting if that were to happen.
There's
Maybe,
no way to know. There's no way to know when that will happen.
right.
Robert E. Grant, he's a polymath, and he studies all of this. And if you check into some of his videos, you'll find that information about Betelgeuse. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, so with this star, even though it is a dying star, it brings so much importance and it really is influencing the energy of these planets here being in Cancer. So
Mhm.
brings great fortune, especially with marriages. Honestly, I do some intuitive, predictive astrology. I feel like this is a really great time for marriages, as I'll go into actually talking about this soon with the summer solstice. June is the month of love and marriages because Juno, the goddess
Mhm.
Juno, was associated with um, the goddess of marriage, Juno, or Hera, as she's called in Greek mythology. So, yes, it is a really great time. So, if anyone's planning to get married, this is a very nice time for this to be happening here. You're really getting the benefits here of this. Great blessings here for marriages and just relationships in general, too. The
Mhm.
ancient Egyptians associated this star Betelgeuse to the god Osiris. So
Mhm.
themes of rebirth and the afterlife are at play here. If you guys aren't familiar with the mythology of Osiris, he was killed by his brother, and actually his wife Isis is the one who finds all his pieces of his body. That sounds a little gruesome, but puts them back together basically and revives him. So this star is associated with Osiris here, who was revived. So what this is an omen of revival in our personal lives. What needs to be
Mhm.
revived?
Mhm.
Love will be revived or reignited for those
Mhm.
of us already in relationships and marriages or those seeking new connections.
Mhm.
There will be many or there will also be a reveal too, I feel. Again, this is kind of intuitive predictions coming through with me. Um, More reveals, so to speak, through media of some sort that's been kind of hidden here, swept under the rug, as Pluto is still in retrograde, which is kind of helping with that energy here.
Yep.
So if you have been stuck in dead energy, this is a great time to come back to life using the
Mhm.
energy of both of these stars, Polaris and Betelgeuse, to help you in the right direction. So it's like you're having this revival within yourself, and Polaris is helping guide you back on your path. So if you've been feeling like you've been kind of straying off the path or confused on where you're going, what direction you're heading in life, this energy is really helping to put you back on track here and remind you who you are and who you want
Mhm.
to be, or your potential of who you can become here. Okay,
Mhm.
so this is actually a lot of this will apply what I've just said to the summer solstice, which I will talk about soon. So a lot of what I've just shared will apply to that. But I'll go ahead and give the next alignment over to Caitlin and what you wanted to share.
Okay. I'm going to be talking about the full moon in Capricorn. That's going to be coming up on June 21st. So actually it's the day after the solstice.
Just
But
after,
yeah,
on and
just
after.
like so close. I mean that the energy's still there.
Mm,
I just wanted to mention that on the actual solstice, if you are in the Northeast Ohio area, if you contact me, you can reach me at universalight@att.net. that's a good email. And then I can tell you about what we have available, but we do a wonderful gathering on summer solstice and teachings, and we have a fire circle. So if you're in our area and want to hook up and connect, do something in person instead of everything being on this little box here, that would be a lot of fun. So let me share my screen. Yes, there's Betelgeuse right here. Okay, good.
We've said it 3 times, so hopefully he doesn't appear. Sorry.
We get my glasses, like what I'm gonna do. Well, the first full moon, because there's going to be 2 of them in Capricorn, and I want Adriana and I to talk a little bit towards the end of our video here, but I have Cancer rising. Adriana has Cancer rising. We both have our suns in Capricorn. So we are having a lot of alignments in June and July for both of us. In fact, we're going to align
similar.
we're going to align in person because next video for July is going to be live with us together. I can't wait to hug you.
Yes, I'm so excited.
Oh my goodness. That's like such a dream come true. We've missed you so much. But the first full moon in Capricorn is the strawberry moon on June 21st at 2 degrees of Cancer. And the second one is called the buck moon, and that'll be on July 21st at 6:17 a.m. And that's at 29 degrees of Cancer. So both of these moons are Capricorn and Cancer combination. So it's kind of a double your pleasure or double your challenges. So we have a choice through our perspective. If you are honoring self-care and self-love in your life, you may double your pleasure. The constellation of Orion and the fixed star Betelgeuse are in opposition to the full moon in Capricorn on June 21st with the 2-degree orb. So what does this mean? So if we look over here again, we see Betelgeuse here, and here's the sun right here. So the constellation of Orion, the hunter, brings to mind the Hermetic principle of as above, so below. The polarity, that means duality, that exists on Earth may reflect Orion, the masculine principle of service to self, and the feminine principle of service to anyone but the self, went on for eons in Orion. So if we apply here the theory that time doesn't exist, then it is still happening right now, as it is certainly being reflected here on Earth. The fixed stars of the Orion belt hold incarnations of the lightest of most angelic beings and high frequency beings, but it can have also the darkest of the dark and lowest frequency beings. So again, there's that polarity. We talked about that in the last video for the beginning of June and how we need to balance. A card came up from Lissa Royal Holt's deck about that, the polarity issue. So when we find that balance, that's the way to go. So let's zero in on Betelgeuse and this opposition. So we have with the full moon. So the full moon is over here, okay? And here we are with Betelgeuse. Now, what is the traits of Betelgeuse? It's the ability to have natural charisma, talent, tendencies for success, fame, ability to embody joy, determination to succeed, and my favorite part, a sense of never giving up on your dreams. So the good news here with this alignment, you see it right here, is the sun and Betelgeuse are conjunct, okay? So we have this opposition with the moon, but we've got this great conjunction over here, okay? So these beautiful traits are readily available to you if you choose them. So here's where the challenge could arise, is with that opposition to the moon. If I'm going to give an example, I think that's the best way to do it. It's just give an example. So you may be quite successful and have great talent. You'll have a lot of charisma and maybe even fame in some way, but you don't feel it on the inside. So this opposition may bring up feelings of not being enough, even though you are quite successful. So what could you do to transform this opposition? Pretty simple. Believe in yourself. Don't focus on what is coming from the outside. Focus completely on your inside. And you will receive the gifts of your talents, charisma, and fame through the perspective of self-realization. Self-realization. Nothing to do with ego inflating. I'm talking soul self-realization. So the most important thing you may realize is that other people's approval, validation, or acceptance can just be an enhancement. We don't have to have a neediness or necessity for that because you already approve, validate, and accept yourself. Releasing all unrealistic expectations you put on yourself is the key to healing this pattern of not believing in yourself. So that's what I wanted to share about the full moon.
I also noticed too, just to add, that there's a Cancer stellium going on too. Lots of nice water energy to kick off the summer. Really nice to see. Yeah.
Yes. I'm sharing my screen. There we go.
You said the next time will be July, was that right?
July 21st. Yeah.
Ah, both on the 21st too. Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. 29 degrees. So different experience when it's in the higher decans. Yeah.
That's
More
true.
spiritual.
Yeah. The summer solstice. Yeah. So it's technically on June 20th, but correct me if I'm wrong. I think the full day of the longest day is actually the 21st. Is that correct?
You know, it just depends. What's the
It just
time for
depends.
the summer solstice?
So it's at 9:51 p.m. UK time, or 4:51 Eastern time for the United States,
Okay.
Eastern United States. So
Okay.
I'm not sure
I
if
think
it'll actually be the
that could be
full
20th then.
sun, the 20th. Okay.
Yeah.
It probably
Because
would be then. Yeah.
it was after, there might be places in the world where it comes in after midnight or something. Yeah, then it would
That's
be.
true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it is, yes, of course, the longest day of the year, it's considered for summer. Of course, there's one in winter as well. So yes, it is then, of course, going into Cancer, as we mentioned earlier. It's the start of Cancer season. Happy birthday, Cancers. Even nice summer solstice.
Cancer risings too.
I know our chart
Yeah.
is very similar. Yeah, it's
And
so
Cancer
funny.
moon. You have to congratulate them too.
Yes, Cancer moons too. You'll be feeling this. So I'm actually going to share a little bit of a pagan perspective on it. I don't consider myself fully pagan, but I do take a lot of the teachings from it. I personally don't like to just label myself as one thing, because I think there's so many good things,
Oh yeah.
out of so many
Yeah.
different spiritual practices. But I am very heavily influenced in that, especially in my ancestral work that I do and honoring my ancestral deities. So I am going to share kind of a pagan perspective and a little bit of history on it, and go into the astrology, of course, too. So in Celtic paganism, and you have Celtic roots as well, Caitlin, with your lineage, your ancestry. The summer solstice signify not only warmth and a good harvest, but also new beginnings and fertility. Sometimes it is modernly known as Litha, depending on your practices. It's more of a Wiccan association, or in Scandinavian practice, it's known as midsummer. The Celtic god, excuse me if I'm mispronouncing his name, Lugh, Lugh, was and is said to sometimes be associated with midsummer because of his role as a harvest god, but he also had many other facets, as a lot of these gods and deities had many, many different facets to them. So I found this was interesting because he also is the correspondent to the Roman god Mercury, or Hermes in the Greek god in Hellenistic perspective. So that is interesting to me because the sun during this solstice, as I spoke about earlier, will be pairing up right next to Mercury. So it's, I think, very relevant, that energy joining up for Lug or Mercury, Hermes, however you want to say it. With the sun pairing up, we also have Venus, who is the goddess of love. Many of us know that. Also corresponds with Juno for the summer solstice. Juno, like I mentioned earlier, that is where that comes from. She's the goddess of marriage, also known as Hera in Greek mythology. So marriages were always very relevant and significant during the month of June because of this reason. Maybe because of the warm weather too. They thought this is a perfect time. So, and blessings of not only marriages and love, but even children as well. Hence, again, popular wedding month, June. The Celtic goddess Freya is the equivalent of this correspondence as well. So we got Freya, we got Venus, we got a lot of those gals all mixed in together. Yes, lots of divine feminine, yes. Lots of love, lots of fertility. Have though that masculine energy coming in with Mercury being there. And so I think it's significant that there's that alignment pairing up with the summer solstice and having Mercury right there too. So what does this mean? This brings a very powerful solstice when it comes to information and communication. And I feel a sense, I guess the best way I can describe it is an activation by the sun. Love getting activated. I think love definitely is key here. I will also, I'm going to share my screen too. Here we go. Here's the summer solstice. So there we have our sun in Cancer, of course, to start off the summer solstice with Venus and Mercury here. Okay.
Yes.
So yes, like I said, on top of the fixed star alignments to Polaris and Betelgeuse, so this only doubles down on what I previously just discussed about these stars with Mercury and Venus. Now the sun is shining on them and highlighting powerful themes of information coming out, as well as what's important or most important, which I think is love, to be honest, not to be a romantic. But I think I always think love is so important. Maybe that's because I have a Libra moon and a Cancer rising, but I think love is one of the most important things in this world. It's one of the most beautiful things to have. Yes.
Love is all. There's nothing more than that. Peace,
yeah.
Another vibration. Actually, peace has the higher vibratory energy than even love. Amazing, but peace, it is the highest vibration. So peace and love.
That's a good point too. Yeah, peace and love. They knew what they were talking about in the 70s.
Well, I had gotten this again from Lissa Royal Holt, Galactic Heritage Cards, and this is solar consciousness. And down at the bottom it says from the solar system. And so this card to me is the kind of the epitome of the solar consciousness as being connected with our highest self. So our highest self is kind of like, like to call it the yellow, golden, orange soul spirit sun of our being, which would be a way to call our highest self. And so an opportunity to connect with that high level being. If you're already connected, you're going to feel a lot more downloads coming in, or sense them, whatever clair you use coming in. But it's an opportunity if you're not feeling connected to your highest self or solar consciousness. The sun is emitting so many flares and trying to wake us up. And so it's an opportunity to wake up within this energy. If we already have it and have awakened, it can feel like a little bit of an overload. So you've got to do things to calm down, maybe, kind of go a little bit into the dark, so to speak, not in a negative way, but, doing activities of deeper meditation, quiet time, going within type of experience, because we have so much light already. So, but if we're trying to attract more light, this is the opportunity. That's what that card is about.
And what a good opportunity it is with it being, the summer solstice.
Mm.
So I've just
Yes.
changed my background. I meant
Yes,
to
I
do
love
it.
it.
I meant to do it earlier, actually. It's just totally forgot. I took this picture actually in Stonehenge when I visited back in 2017, and
Beautiful.
thought it's fitting, yeah, for the summer solstice too. I think some
Very.
people still can go there
Oh,
to practice the
oh,
summer
absolutely.
solstice. Mm.
Mhm.
I think you have to get special permission now, but yeah, it's
Mhm.
if it's a practice that's been going on since forever,
Yeah.
celebrating the sun. So I will now pull our tarot message around this beautiful summer solstice. So I'm going to go ahead and give this a quick shuffle here. I'm using the same deck I used from last time, my very cute Dreaming Cat Tarot. Actually, before I do it, I'm going to use my cleansing spray that I mentioned in the last video we did. And I'm just going to go ahead and do a quick spray. So some for me, remove any negativity from my life, cleansing my path, and some for you, removing any
Ooh, feeling it.
negativity from my life, cleansing my path, and summer solstice blessings to you all.
Yes.
I'm pulling this live for you guys, so I'm going to shuffle my cards. What do we need to know? What does the collective need to know around this summer solstice? Oh, got something right away. Jumped right out.
It's the sun.
We have we have the Eight of Swords here with Temperance. Okay, so this is a little bit of a healing going on. Some of us need the sun to come in to heal us. I see the Eight of Swords here. So some of us are
Mhm.
tangled up in some things. So this might be a message for a particular group of you. As we have Temperance on the bottom of the deck, Temperance is the card of having faith in yourself, having patience,
Mhm.
and healing. So there's some
Mhm.
things, what are we tangled up in here? Like this cat and this ball of yarn. What are we tangled up in? Are we entangled in things out of our control? And do we need to let it go and release that, especially with the full moon in Capricorn?
Yeah, I mentioned we could be either caught up in challenges,
Mm-hmm.
or we could be receiving a lot of prosperity and goodness. So we have a choice in how
Mm-hmm.
we view it, our perspective. So that card really resonates with that. Beautiful pull.
What things do we need to let go of that are out of our control? Sometimes you have to just let it go. And especially if
Yeah.
it's something too that needs addressing, that needs to be healed, have patience with yourself. Don't be too hard on yourself. Okay, let the
Yes.
healing come in, especially with the summer solstice here. And again, with the full moon following it up the next day, let it go. If you are doing some sort of, I would recommend actually doing some sort of fire type of thing, like a
Yeah.
campfire, even if you just do like a small little fire, just you can write it down on
Mm-hmm.
a piece of paper what you want to let go of and toss it in that fire there and let
Yeah,
it
that's the
go.
scribble. Yeah, I've talked about that on my the Pleiades Big Love video that I did
Hmm.
recently. You might want to check that out, and we talk about that there, about the letting go is so important, and especially with the fire, you can just, everything you've scribbled out, you use your less dominant hand and you just
Hmm.
let it go, and the energy is coming through here right to your hand, and you're not trying to write it perfectly. You're just letting the emotions come out and then pop that into the fire. And we'll be doing that at our fire circle on June 20th. And again, if you're in the Northeast Ohio area, if you contact me, you can contact me at Bhakti Galactic Healing. That's my YouTube channel. But my email is universalight@att.net. So would love to hear from you. And Adriana is Starry Sky Readings is her connection. And we can do any reports, readings that you're interested in to go deeper into your astrology. And then
Yes.
Adriana
Hmm.
offers her beautiful tarot readings. And as you can see from these videos, she's very accurate, very intuitive. Highly recommend you check her
Oh,
out.
thank you. Yeah. Yes, and Caitlin recently, if you haven't seen our other videos, she was recently certified in Galactic Astrology as a QSG practitioner. So you're doing it all now.
Yeah,
You're doing it,
it's
going
been
deep.
I'm busy. I
Oh
also do
yeah.
Reiki. I'm a
Yes.
Shiki Ryoho Reiki master, and currently working with groups and doing attunements. We have one coming up on June 30th. That one's completely full, but we will probably have one more. And then this is the 2024-2025 year for people to go through Reiki 1, Reiki 2, and master. And we do it over a year, at least a year or more period of time. We don't rush it. And you get a ton of training. I go to great levels to train people to become Reiki master teachers like us.
Busy Capricorns.
Yes, we are.
Well, yes, it really feels like the energy is honestly very, very good for June. I really don't see anything, you know,
Mm.
bad necessarily. We do have Saturn retrograde actually starting the 29th. We might talk more
Mhm.
about that in our next video.
Yes.
But
Yep.
it's, really though, most of the month of June though feels very positive in my opinion. It feels really good.
Big love.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a month of love, definitely. Well, thank you all for watching. As we always say, please do like this and if it resonates, please comment down below. Or if you have any questions too, please feel free to put them there. We love to read your comments or help answer any questions you may have. We'll
And
see you
subscribe
then.
to all of our channels. Subscribe to all of our channels because we do
All,
videos that you wouldn't see on the Galactic Astrology as well. So we have
yeah,
some
check
fun
them
things.
all out.
Thank you.
Thank you for
Namaste.
watching and have a happy summer solstice.